Hey guys, just thought I'd make a quick video showing the basic breakdown and field strip procedure on the Meteva Se Unica. You're going to need two simple tools to do this, two Allen wrenches. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what size either of these are. I'm not that organized, but this one's really small. This one's probably about 1/8 of an inch. You use that to take the grip off. But the main reason you're going to want to do this procedure is probably two reasons. I mean, just basic cleaning if you want to put some oil on the slide and stuff, but the other reason is that this is a semi-auto revolver, and if you manage to find different recoil springs, you can shoot different calibers. So like this one's in 44 Magnum, and if I wanted to shoot 44 Special, I could take the slide off, replace the recoil spring, and I could shoot the 44 Specials in there. So to get started, the basic procedure to take the slide off is pretty easy. Right up in here, inside the trigger guard, there's a tiny screw. You use this little bitty Allen wrench, put this arm in here, and it goes in there, and then you just slowly work it out. And I took this gun apart a few days ago, so before I decided to make the video, and I just decided not to put it all the way back together because it's kind of a pain to unscrew that little thing, but this little bitty screw comes out, so you pull that out. Once that's out, this part right here, it basically functions as a slide stop, and it's also the pin that holds the slide on. So if you just pull the slide rearward a little bit, the pressure comes off and this pin comes out. So this just dropped out of there. And once that's done, this just slides right off. And now you can see there's the recoil spring and guide rod. And I'm just going to take these out because I'm going to break this down all the way. But if that's all you were changing, you would just swap out the spring, put the top back on, put this pin back in, and you're ready to go. Let you see sort of an inside look of the gun. You don't get to see that very often, but so that's the frame. And to break it down a little further, I'll take the grip screw off using that other Allen wrench. So that's pretty straightforward. You just work it out. This thing's kind of slippery. I got some gun cleaning stuff on my hand still. So I think that's out. Yep. All right. So there are a couple components. There's the sort of all the action, the triggers, guts, and stuff like that. And then up here, the Se Unicas were also known for having interchangeable barrels. This one has a 4-inch, but if I wanted, I could put different barrel lengths on there. And I'm not exactly sure on the procedure with the ones that don't have compensators. This one does have one. So to unscrew the barrel and the barrel shroud, you just turn it. Makes sense. And after a while, it'll come off. And I think with the ones without the compensator to grab onto there, you just need to devise some sort of wrench or something to get it out of there. But and I'm always looking for spare barrels or something. They're impossible to find, of course, though. Once that comes out, there you go. There's the barrel and the shroud. So that's out. And then you're left with this, which is a cylinder assembly. And for basic breakdown of that, you just pop this out, and then the cylinder, the crane is held on with a pin right there. And to get that out, I just use that small Allen wrench again. Try not to block the view too much. Push it out that way, and it pops out, and then the cylinder comes off. And the cylinder too, if you want to take that apart, you can just unscrew this guide rod, or this rod here, and the whole thing comes out. So that is the gun basically broken down into all its parts. Try to put them back in order here so you can sort of see how it all comes together in the actual gun without drifting off camera too much. I always have that problem. I'll just move the camera. So there are your basic Meteva parts. Putting them back together is actually pretty easy, and as you could see, taking it apart was pretty easy. So at this point, maybe just put some grease on the slide, clean out some stuff. Sometimes this gun gets a little sticky in the trigger mechanism, so spray some rim oil in there and keeps it ticking. So that's a disassembly of the Meteva Se Unica. This is just a quick addendum to the video I filmed about the disassembly and basic field strip of the Meteba Se Unica. At the end of that video I mentioned that the reassembly is basically just as easy and intuitive as the disassembly is. That's not actually true. I forgot about one little trick that sort of tripped me up when I first pulled it apart. I wasn't using the manual at the time, and I put the whole gun back together, and the double action pull stopped working. It wasn't rotating the cylinder, wasn't resetting the trigger, and I thought I had broken something. But so I panicked for a little bit. I looked at it more closely. I figured out what the problem was, and then later on it turns out that it was actually in the manual. So just goes to show you it pays to read the manual on these things. But so the trick is, and I'll zoom in here so you can see the what it's supposed to look like when it's put back together. The trick and what was happening was there's this red rod in there, and it hooks onto this round piece here. There's a tab that comes off of that. And I don't really know what the names of these parts are. They have Italian names, but since this gun's so weird, it doesn't really have a lot of commonality with other revolvers and semi-autos. But anyway, so this red piece, it's sort of shaped like a tuning fork, like a V shape, and it goes over a little tab that's coming off of this round piece. And if you're not paying attention, this red rod, after you've taken the slide off, it just kind of flops back down into this cylinder assembly here, and you don't even notice it's there because it lies flush with this panel back here. So that's what happened to me. I didn't even know it was there, and when I put it back together, I didn't realize that this needs to engage onto there, and this round piece, it wasn't coming all the way back into this assembly, and I wasn't able to reset the trigger. I believe this red piece also is what pulls the pawl in and rotates the cylinder for you, so just causes a lot of problems. So in order to get that out and put it onto that round piece like you need to do, this is the way I've found to do it, and I've done this several times, so I believe this is a decent way to do it. But so just imagine this slide isn't all the way on. It's back pretty far, but not all the way on. There's this hole here, and I use the same Allen wrench that I used to put take the grip off. Push it through that hole, and you can push that red rod out with the cylinder release down. It's it's normally hanging just flush with that. You can push it out so that it comes out a little bit, and once it's out as far as it can go, if you flip this up, you can push it out a little bit farther, and then you push the slide back on, and it'll hook onto that round piece like it's supposed to. So it threw me for a loop first time I did it, so I thought maybe it wouldn't hurt to add that little trick to this video, and yeah, to show you how to put the gun back together then. So this video probably won't be super helpful for anyone that doesn't already have the gun, but I just hope it maybe inspires confidence in taking it apart. It's really not as scary as I thought it was going to be, and putting it back together, it was a little tricky, but like I showed you, it's not too bad. So, and like I said, read the manual. If you go to my website, metebafan.com, I have uploaded a scan of the manual, so if that helps, it's there for anyone to go and download it. So that was the basic field strip and disassembly and reassembly of the Meteba Se Unica.